Anyone else have board comment? Anybody else? Okay, I have one. All right, go ahead, John. John.
So I just would like to talk about some experiences I've had on this board and the importance of community buy-in. So my first year on the board was 2013. I know that's a long time ago, but believe it or not, that's my first year. And one of the first committees I was on was the technology committee, and at the time we did not have the one-to-one computers set up. So these laptops did not exist. We were still studying. In 2014, and I believe it was 2014, we decided as a board on the committee, reviewed both types of systems, Apple and I believe at the time Google was the other system we were looking at, and we decided to go with Apple. So we approved it, we approved the purchase of these computer systems, and they came in that summer. We approved it to start that September, but as a board, we decided that the community wasn't ready, the students weren't ready, the teachers weren't ready, so we decided to pause the rollout. We could have rolled it out in September. The board had approved to do that, but then we decided to just pause. And instead of rolling it out in September, we rolled it out mid-year. So we started handing out the computers, we put in processes, we put in extra training for the teachers, we put in a whole bunch of things to make the rollout as smooth as possible. And it was one of the best rollouts of one-to-one ever, and other towns came actually to actually look at how we rolled it out, because there had been some towns that rolled it out that were not successful. So we were an example of that. And that allowed us not only to have a successful rollout, but also to get that community buy-in at that time for something as radical as going to this, apart from books that we've been using for 30, 40, 50 years. Another example of this over the course of my tenure was in 2017, and I think it was 2017. Ms. Bev McKay was the superintendent at the time, and she wanted to go to district-wide supervisors. And we had meetings in all our committees. We had discussed it. She had board buy-in. She made presentations to the board, and she wanted to move forward with this. We presented it to the public, but the problem at the time was that she did not have public buy-in at the time. And she didn't have the buy-in from the teachers or the supervisors at the time. Now, even though she could have passed it, she had board support to pass it, she decided that the time wasn't right, and the time would be right at a later date or a later time, because she felt it was important that we have buy-in from everyone. So I guess what I'm saying here is that we have a curriculum this evening that is on our agenda. It's been recommended to pass, but we have the proper buy-in from the community. Now, I've made the argument that, look, I want to be kind to everyone, I don't want to harass anyone, and I judge people based on who they are. That's just me, okay? I want a curriculum that is based on content of character and achievement, not identity. But that doesn't make me wrong. That doesn't make those on the other side wrong. Maybe I need to learn more about this, and the point I'm trying to make here is that our public schools, we're all, if you live in Franklin Lakes, Oakland, or Wyckoff, you all have to pay taxes. Those taxes go to our public schools. It's not like the public school says to you, hey, look, you have an option to take this curriculum if you don't like it. No, if you don't take the curriculum, you're not going to go to the next grade. So that's why I believe the public buy-in is so important. And that's why I believe that we've moved too fast on this, and I think the proper course of action would be delay it, maybe till January. I don't know the right time, but I also know we don't have a superintendent seated here. Unfortunately, our superintendent has been ill, and I wish him well, and I hope he gets better very soon. But again, I hear a lot of people on both sides, and they're valid arguments on both sides, but it's very important that we have this community buy-in, and I'm not 100% certain that we do. So I'll leave up my concerns to the rest of the board. If anyone else would like to comment, I'll pass it on to another board member. Thank you.
I do have two comments. One, regarding the Google Doc forms that were submitted, I asked to see those on behalf of the board, but unfortunately, they were not given to the board. I finally got Mr. Fogarty to opine on that decision, and he said that they should be forwarded to the board. Unfortunately, they haven't been yet. So, so no one is on this board aware of the Google documents that were sent to us. Second, I want to, Mr. Sutherland, I was informed by you that a book written by Trevor Noah that was raised during apartheid and has interracial parents is from South Africa, an award-winning comedian, host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, and my understanding a quarter Jewish, was removed from the curriculum. I want to know what book that was and why. I also want to say, yet when I asked Mrs. Sutherland whether Of Mice and Men, where a cognitively disabled character who may or may not profile like the students in that class is shot cold-blooded in the back of the head is appropriate for special education, I was told that it will remain in place regardless. So my question to you is, how are these types of concerns evaluated and by whom? Who makes that declaration? Because I certainly would like to read a book by Trevor Noah. I'm not sure why it was canceled. The other thing I wanted to say is, no, I'm not going to say it. I also want to say that this curriculum, if this curriculum is so great, why such a strong arm to push? I don't understand the argument for CUSAC. It's still not clear to me. That's a false flag, in my opinion. The state mandate, again, another false flag. We are already in compliance as far as I understand it to be. I ask that perhaps because we invested so much time and money at this point, that perhaps we should wait for Dr. Denisio to come and really engulf himself into this. I know in Verona he has put checks and balances where he is invited the community to participate in the decision making. So I would have loved to see his input on that. So those are the few things I wanted to share. Thank you.
I have something to say, Madam President.
Mrs. King.
Thank you. So in regards to your statement about Trevor Noah, since we're having discussion, Trevor Noah played into anti-Semitic tropes by tweeting that behind every successful rap billionaire is a double rich Jewish man. Almost bumped a Jewish kid crossing the road. He didn't look before crossing, but I still would have felt so bad in my German car. These are a few of the tweets by Trevor Noah. I'll go on with his misogynistic tweets. Messi gets the ball and real players try to foul him, but Messi doesn't go down easy. Oh, I'm sorry, this is anti-Semitic. Just like Jewish chicks. Let me go on. Originally, when men proposed, they went down on one knee, so if the woman said no, they were in the perfect uppercut position. These are tweets by Trevor Noah. Now, I'm sorry, but I think that our district can do better to find other people who may have been raised during apartheid who don't share Mr. Noah's views. We are a diverse community. We have a large Jewish population, okay? We also have people of color in our community. We do not promote anti-Semitic or misogynistic views. And I think that we can find another author that can give us the same semblance of decency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I just add to that? So, Mr. Sutherland, did Mrs. King tell you to remove that book?
I did not tell him to do anything. I brought my concerns to Mr. Sutherland when we had an opportunity to discuss the curriculum with him. I did not instruct him to do anything.
Okay, so-
and for you to insinuate that is wrong.
So my question was to Mrs. Sutherland was, how are those kind of decisions determined? And I had the same concern with mice and men. So I'm just curious as how you receive that information and what processes do you put in place to evaluate? And then, these were your words, pulled, or no, I'm sorry, removed.